Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Corman Productions, here to strike first, strike hard, and to show no mercy while talking about Cobra Kai Season 3. Unfortunately, there are spoilers in my dojo, so if you haven't watched the Season 3 yet, I highly recommend that you leave and come back. But when you do so, you better take your shoes off, otherwise you're disrespecting my dojo, and you will be escorted out with extreme force. And I would rather not do that, because it is rather difficult to get blood out of these mats. Just ask John Kreese. If you like this video, and you like generally what I do here, please subscribe to my channel. About 3 years ago, I was sleeping on my boss's couch. My life was in ruins. Not unlike where we find Johnny Lawrence at the beginning of the series. Though I don't drink Coors Banquet beers like Johnny does. One night, I was laying on that couch that I was sleeping on, and I happened to see a trailer for Cobra Kai. And I was shocked, because I'm a movie guy and a TV guy, and I had no idea that this series existed, or was going to exist. I was a huge fan of the Karate Kid series back in the day. The first one is an undisputed classic. The second one gets a lot of flack, a lot of hate, but I still love it. The third one is a guilty pleasure of mine. It is in no way a good movie, but it is a highly enjoyable watch. Mainly thanks to the bad guy in that series, Terry Silver, played by Thomas Ian Griffith. The trailer seemed to indicate that Johnny Lawrence's life took a turn after his loss in the tournament. It seemed like we were getting a role reversal, with Johnny as the protagonist, and Daniel as the successful man and a bit of a jerk. And I was hooked. Instantly hooked by this concept. It seemed to play on the idea presented in a YouTube video that Daniel was the real bully. Now, I wasn't entirely sold that this series would be any good, and I was a little worried that they would go too far in the direction of Daniel being a jerk, because I loved his character in the original movies. But there was no way that I was not checking out this series. What I got was a series full of fun karate action, plenty of heart, and a big-time slice of hard-hitting 80s cheese. And I loved every dang second of it. Johnny is the protagonist, but both characters are presented as basically good men who occasionally go the wrong direction. Both are hard-headed and hot-headed men with two different views of their past together. Most of their conflict together is a series of escalating misunderstandings. You root for both of them. And there are episodes in the series that make you want them to just bury the hatchet and become the best friends that they are destined to be. The series starts with Johnny Lawrence as a down-on-his-luck, basically an alcoholic. He's hopelessly stuck in the 80s. Meanwhile, Daniel LaRusso is a successful car dealership owner with a beautiful wife and a couple of kids. Daniel's daughter Samantha, with some friends, ends up hitting Johnny Lawrence's car, which results in it getting towed to LaRusso Auto and a reunion among old frenemies. Earlier in the episode, while eating some food at a strip mall, Johnny Lawrence sees one of his neighbors, Miguel, getting bullied. He doesn't do anything about it until one gets pushed into his car, and then he decides to kick some ass, which impresses Miguel enough to ask him to train him and show him some moves. But until the end of the episode, Johnny has no interest in helping him. In the end, Johnny decides to become Sensei Lawrence to train Miguel and start back up Cobra Kai, which is also where the renewed rivalry between Daniel starts up again, because Daniel has bad memories of being bullied by members of Cobra Kai. Johnny's relationship to Miguel, who sort of becomes a surrogate son, is a series highlight. They help each other become better. Johnny teaches Miguel how to defend himself and to become a badass champion, and it's through his relationship with Miguel that Johnny begins to evolve as a human being. The season ends at the All Valley Tournament with Miguel facing off against Johnny's estranged son, Robbie. You worry that the once sweet-hearted character, Miguel, might turn into an evil jerk. And that's before John Kreese, who was thought to be dead by Johnny, enters the dojo. Meanwhile, Daniel has decided to start up Miyagi-Do and to train students to combat Cobra Kai's influence all over the valley, with Robbie at his side. When the season was over, I couldn't wait to see the second season, and it was every bit as good as the first season. Miguel wasn't quite as much of a jerk as it seemed like he was at the end of the last season. He was still the sweet-hearted kid, the sweet-natured kid, with some badass moves. The season ended with an all-out karate brawl at the school that, for the most part, I was laughing at because, honestly, there was no way that those kids were not going to be in jail or expelled, or they had to face some kind of consequence for what occurred there. But I stopped laughing when Robbie kicked Miguel off a railing and into an uncertain fate. Was he going to live, or was he going to die? As a result, Daniel was told by his wife no more karate, because his daughter, had gotten hurt in the fight. Robbie was a fugitive. Johnny Lawrence lost the dojo because Kreese stole it out from underneath him. His students turned against him, and he felt he failed his surrogate son, Miguel. He left his badass Cobra Kai car at the beach and threw the phone that he had recently gotten into the sand, and he doesn't notice a friendship request from his old lover, Allie. I was dying to see Season 3, which got held over because YouTube ended its efforts to be a creative force in content. It sold the series to Netflix, and then the coronavirus happened. So we waited a long time to see this series again. And the question was, would it live up to the first two seasons? And I am pleased to say that the answer is absolutely yes. Season 3 was completely fantastic. It still has the heart, it still has the humor, drama, and plenty of karate action. The trailer made it seem like Daniel and Johnny would finally team up to take down Kreese and maybe help Robbie in the process. But it was a little misleading, as they teamed up for one episode and then parted ways until the end of the season, while of course still having run-ins here and there. We start the season off with Daniel about to lose his car dealership because of the bad publicity as a result of the spite at the school. Johnny is getting drunk in a bar and starting fights and ending up in jail. Miguel is clinging to life. Robbie is on the run from the law. It was actually quite refreshing to see that they actually dealt with the possible consequences of what happened last year in the finale with the big school fight. It wasn't totally realistic, but then again, you're probably not watching the show for the realism. Still, it was nice to see some actual consequences from what happened. There are aspects of Robbie's character that made me slightly less than sympathetic to him throughout the year, and I will actually discuss that more in depth when I do individual episode reviews of the series, which I've decided to do. I'll be sprinkling them about throughout the rest of the year. They attempted to humanize John Kreese with some flashback scenes that didn't really work for me. I mean, sure, he went through some horrible things, but it does not excuse his current actions and the fact that he's basically a psychopath, as definitely demonstrated by the final episode of this season. Spoiler warning, Miguel doesn't die. I'm sure that's not a galloping shock to anybody. The series isn't dark enough to kill off one of its likable leads like that. Miguel and Johnny's relationship remains a series highlight. It's just an absolute joy to watch the two of them together. Samantha, Daniel's daughter, actually has a pretty interesting arc in this season, which plays right into my area of focus on mental health, as she suffers, I guess, from some form of PTSD as a result of the fight and everything that happened as a result. There are guest stars from the old movies sprinkled throughout the series, and each and every one of those guest star appearances is handled beautifully. I was a little let down by the finale, which ends in ridiculous fashion, but as the season came to a conclusion, we got a lot of what we wanted. And oh man, am I looking forward to Season 4. Overall, a pretty great season. Certainly some problems here and there, but what series doesn't? But definitely living up to Season 1 and 2 of this series, and I can't wait for more. I'll go more into depth about what I liked and disliked as I get into the individual episode reviews. But I think that's all I got for now. If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways that you can do so. You can follow me on Twitter at coreproductions.com. You can join my Facebook group at Cobra Productions. You can buy something from the Zazzle store, Cobra Productions. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video. And you can subscribe to my channel so that you can be updated when new videos are loaded. This is Dave Corman from Cobra Productions, signing off.